Alright, we are filling out more pages in your flipbook. This is in your Unit 2 Polynomials flipbook. We are working in section number 2, and this is the bottom flap. And I just noticed something. I'm not sure why this symbol disappeared, but let's go ahead and put this in there. This is a monomial times a monomial, and then we've got a monomial times a binomial. And now this is really the main focus of our unit, is how do we multiply monomials and binomials together. And we'll just look at a couple really simple examples of this. Crazy, but just want to show you how this flows and how the properties you've already learned work in this section, and hopefully this will be something you guys remember. So the simple 6 times 2, 6 times 2, this is actually a monomial times a monomial. 6 is a term with no variable, so it's a monomial. This is a term with no variable. Remember back in the definitions section, that can be considered a monomial. And these two together, this is not rocket science. We should be able to do this. 6 times 2 is 12. Easy peasy. Take a look at the next one. 6 parentheses 2 parentheses. Well, hopefully you all remember or know this, that the parentheses just means we're multiplying these two terms together. In fact, these two expressions are exactly the same. 6 times 2, this means 6 times 2, and that is also 12. I'm covering this just to make sure there's nobody in the class who is confused by these parentheses, and then again everything else we do will be very difficult to understand. Take a look at 6 times 2. Well, the difference now is we put the parentheses around the 6, but remember, when you don't have a plus or a minus here, this just means multiply these two terms together. So 6 times 2, and we get the same answer, 12. Hope you guys are all laughing at this point, going, well, Mr. Z, if this is how easy this unit is, I'm going to be doing well, because I got this part down. Alright, let's take a look at the next one. 6 times x. Now remember, if we were adding or subtracting these terms, we couldn't do it, because they're not like terms. But multiplication allows us to combine any terms together. 6 times x is just the same as 6x. Think about this. If x was an apple, and I have 6 of them, then I have 6 apples. This means the same thing. 6 times x means I have 6 apples. So 6x is our answer. The next one, let's take a look at 6x times 2. Now, think about this. The 2 is a constant, or it's a term without a variable, and that will combine with the same type of term in the first part. So this 6x times 2, we can combine the 2 and the 6 together, and that is 12x. Some students in this case want to say, okay, this is 2 times 6, which is 12, and this is 2 times x, which is 2x, and they get a crazy answer here. That's not how it works with multiplication. When you're multiplying terms together and multiplying different values together, you multiply together the two values that are the same type of value. So if you had 2 x's, you'd multiply those together. If you had 2 y's, you'd multiply those together. Here we have 2 constants, or 2 coefficients, so we can multiply those together. And here's a good example of that, as we just talked about that. What about 6x times x? All right, well, we can see here that the x value here is the same as the x value here. They're both the same variable. That means we can combine them together. The 6 doesn't change at all, because it's not being multiplied by anything. But the x times x is x squared. Remember, it's not 2x. X plus x is 2x. X times x is x squared. All right, and the last one, 6x times y. Now notice we have one constant here, one coefficient, doesn't combine with anything in parentheses. The x variable doesn't have a an x variable in the parentheses, so it can't be multiplied there. And the y variable inside the parentheses can't be multiplied by anything here. So basically it just remains the way it is, except for you can remove the parentheses. You could just read this as 6x times y, which is the same as 6 times x times y. Now some students might ask the question, well, Mr. Z, what if I wrote it like this? What if I wrote x, y, 6? Technically, is that the same answer? Absolutely. Multiplication is commutative, meaning we can rearrange the order any way we want, and the answer is the same. The only problem is this is not the normal way to write a math term. You're usually going to start with the coefficient first, and then add the variables after that, and normally you'll put your variables in alphabetical order. You don't have to. Another way to do it would be to put them in exponent order. But again, that answer would have been correct, but wouldn't have been written properly. Alright, so monomials, no sweat. Let's take a look at a monomial and a binomial. 6 times x plus 2. And now we're going to kick in the distributive property. The distributive property, which tells us that if we have this 6 being multiplied by this expression in parentheses, we basically treat this expression like a term because it's in parentheses. And we can distribute the 6 first to the first part of that binomial, and then to the second part of that binomial. And we're going to get 6 times x is 6x, and 6 times positive 2 is positive 12. Okay, let's go look at the next one. What happens if the parentheses get messed up? They don't look like we normally see the problems in your homework or on test. How about x plus 2 times 6? Well, actually what you can do is, you got two ways you can do this. You can distribute the 6 backwards to both the x and the 2, or you can rewrite it in the proper order and put the 6 in front. Remember, multiplication is commutative. That means I can write these two things. This part right here, the x plus 2, which I have to treat as one term right now, and the 6, I can put those in any order I want. I'm just going to go ahead and distribute them backwards. Works the same way. 6 times the x and 6 times the 2. So 6 times the x is 6x. 6 times the 2 is 12. So you could see these two expressions are identical. They're written in a different order, but they give us the exact same binomial answer. How about this one? 6x times quantity x plus 2. Distributive property, the 6x is multiplied times the 6, and the 6x is multiplied times the 2. 6x times x is 6x squared. Remember, the 6 does not get multiplied by anything because there's not a coefficient over here. Well, actually there is. The coefficient is 1. 6 times 1 just gives us 6. And x times x is x squared. And then we have 6x times 2. In this case, we have a 6 and a 2. Those are like terms. 6 times 2 is 12. And the x variable doesn't have anything to be multiplied with, and so it just remains x. Alright, and last example. What if we get more than one variable? So now we have 6x times quantity y plus 2. Well, the property stays the same, distributive property, but you'll see the result will be a little bit different. In this case, I'm going to write this in a different color. We're multiplying 6x times y. 6x times y, and remember, we can't combine the 6 with anything. The x is a variable by itself. It doesn't combine with anything, and the y can't be combined with anything. So basically, this just remains 6xy. And then we have our next term. I'll just write this out so you see this. This is 6x times 2. And 6x times 2, remember, the 6 and the 2 are both constant numbers or coefficients. So we can multiply those together. That's 12. And the x Doesn't have another x variable to multiply with, so it just remains x. And there's our answer for the last binomial. Sorry, this is a monomial times a binomial.